Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the fifth round of the RingFreaks Championship. Penultimate round will greet us with these BMW M235i cars, which I hope will give us some fascinating racing in a couple of minutes. We have joined the end of the qualifying session, and if I'm not mistaken, Nimz is the driver who didn't put in a valid lap time. Yes, indeed. So I think he put in a outlap. Still has some kind of time registered to his name, but it's 9 minutes 45. You can see that currently still Lucas has set the fastest lap time at the moment, 9 minutes 28. Mangano is currently second, still on the track. Strange to see Nimz standing in the pit lane. And if you would take a look at the overall standings in the championship, and that's what I'm doing right now, providing you with some sort of information. Nimz is currently first, 179 points in total. 150 points belong to Eliseo Bender, and Mangano is currently third with 150 points also. Mangano has the lightest car out of the top four drivers. Strangely enough, Justen Lucas is currently fifth without any weight added to his vehicle. He has 122 points, so meaning he was finishing constantly outside the top three places, still gathering enough of points, which maybe will help him today in the battle for maybe the first win. He's currently first in the qualifying session. Not sure how that will end. Matas Miller is currently sixth, Toras Gudnavičius seventh, but Toras Gudnavičius did start only 2 races, and he's not with us this evening. Currently I'm all alone, waiting for my colleague Gustas Grimbergas to join in a little bit later, as hopefully as soon as we will start the first race, but we have to finish what we have already started. Oh, I'm looking at the World Sim Series webpage. Currently Nimz is being shown as the first of all of the drivers, but he's in the pit lane, I can assure you that. Mangano is approaching the final corners running on the main straight, meaning that he has almost finished his valid flying lap time. Justen Lucas running somewhere in the middle of the track, so it looks like Mangano is going to be the driver who will cross that line soonest, and we will see those results coming in. I didn't have a look at what the times are or have been made in the qualifying session, but yeah, here comes Mangano, 9 minutes 17. He's currently on the provisional pole position, and one thing is for sure, Nimz will not start this race from pole. Rahmanian, he's the driver who should cross the line next. Leo Bryan currently second, pushing Justen Lucas down to P3, but Justen Lucas is somewhere in the middle of the track. Not sure if we should. Well, I think we should have a close look at Justen Lucas, because he might be the driver who could take the pole position. Rahmanian currently third, and Nimz is still P5 with only 1 completed lap time, which is not the fastest way around the Nordschleife circuit. Ivo is running down the slipstream. Who is he fighting here with? That's not Thomas Hauer, that's Arminas Tomaševičius. Side by side, it's not the best way to complete a qualifying session while battling your rivals, so both of these drivers will not put in the fastest possible lap times, but they have a good and great chance to be faster than Nimz, and that should create us a really interesting first race. A bit of a show, hopefully, with Nimz starting at least from the mid-pack, because there might be drivers who will not set any valid lap time. Ivo putting a lap worth of 7th place, Tomaševičius 8th, so it looks like Ivo could have been a little bit faster, but he had to lift while he gained on Tomaševičius. Felipe, what is Felipe up to? I think he's not in a fast lap. Hoven is currently 12th. That's the small carousel, so he's almost finishing the lap. One long straight and a fast chicane awaits of Hoven. Bosshammer completing the lap. 10 minutes 19 was his out lap. Now to the final chicane, onto the back straight, onto the Grand Prix circuit. Boxhammer should take a position which should be a little bit higher than 12th. Let's take a good look at what Boxhammer is capable of. He's going up to P11, 9 minutes and 34 seconds, so 17 seconds separating P1 and P11. Justinas Lucas still roughly, well, a little bit further than the middle of the racetrack, approaching the final places, final kilometers of the longest circuit. Well, I think it's the longest operating circuit where race cars can enter. Correct me if I'm wrong. I know there are longer circuits out there, but I'm not sure if they are operational. 25 kilometers in length. How is it, 175 corners in total, I believe, something like that. So it's really a long track. Justinas Lucas showing his drift skills. Not sure if that's playing well for a good lap. Matas Mendelis, by the way, finished his flying lap time, and he's up to P4, 9 minutes 18.7. It's really tight at the front of the pack, without, of course, having Jan Nimz on the line. Jan Nimz already P15. Justinas Lucas with his first lap, which was an out lap, I assume, is currently 10th, but he's on a flyer, so let's wait and see how that goes. Espin, Stefanovic, Einingis, Foltin and Groh, all the drivers have already finished the qualifying session, meaning that they didn't put a valid lap time. Possible is out of the session, not sure if he'll have the chance to get back. Justinas Lucas just trying to push out all that the turbo engine has to offer in this BMW M235i, one of the easier cars to drive. One driver expressed that it's like a cow on the wheels, but it loves the curbs, so you can be a little bit aggressive with cutting off some corners, which anyway, hopefully will produce some close door-to-door racing action. That's what we all waiting for, aren't we? Justinas Lucas going up to P5 for yet another 9 minutes 18 seconds lap time, and this was your qualifying session for the 5th round of the RingFreaks Championship. Let's take a quick look at the results. Mangano starting on P1, Halonen. Oh, how did I miss this? A driver from Finland put in a really nice lap time, 9 minutes 17 seconds and 9 tenths. Bender starting 3rd, Mendelis 4th, Justinas Lucas 5th, Klimanskas starting from P6, Stravinskas 7th, Lee O'Brien P8, Justinas Lucas disconnected, hopefully he will have the chance to get back, Rahmainian P9, Poshibal 10th, Ivo dropping down to 11th, Varg 12th, Gruil 13th, Bosshammer 14th, Tomashavich 15th, Hoven 16th, Groh 17th, and well, these are all the drivers who didn't put in a valid lap time. And that's about it for our grid for this moment being, because all the drivers are already set out on the grid, ready to start rolling. Every participant knows the Nordschleife circuit well, because it's already the 5th round in a row happening on the Nordschleife circuit, and it's a different championship with a different approach, which I really enjoy. Of course, it's a RingFreaks championship, and whole lot to the RingFreaks guys who organized this amazing championship with more amazing prizes. The winners will have the chance to visit the real racetrack. We are about ready to start racing. I've announced the prizes, but I think it's vouchers for the RingFreaks cars, and the drivers are ready to race for them. Mangano having a blast of a start, and he is one of the drivers who occasionally was driving pretty fast, and this time might be no exception. Aliseo Bender right on the tail of the black car of Thomas Halonen, beautiful livery of Thomas, the driver from Finland. He's racing in real-life races in a TCR car. He didn't have a good start in these BMWs, dropping to P3. Matas Mendel is right on the tail, and that's what we came here, and that's what we were hoping for out of these BMWs. Klimanskas up to P5. Klimanskas managed to snatch a win 2 weeks ago in those GT3 cars. And now he's running P5, so pretty decent run. Let me remind you that the driver who will finish 10th in the first race will start the second race from pole position, so this is another point to have to lay an eye on, because well, we remember 2 weeks ago it was the case that helped Boris Manassas to gain that win. Nimz up to P11, so after a unlucky qualifying session. By the way, Nimz has the heaviest car on the grid with 60 kilograms added to the weight of his vehicle, and I think these BMWs should suffer a little bit more than the GT3s for the added weight. They are not that fast. They are really clunky, and as Mendels, I think, expressed himself, I've already told that it looks like these cars are cows on wheels. What about that? So you have to be really careful, and yeah, of course, Nimz with that weight, it's not going to help him, and especially for the longevity of the virtual rubber on this BMW. Nimz is doing a phenomenal job. It's no wonder he's one of the most experienced drivers on the grid, especially on the Nordschleife circuit. You can just see that no matter what vehicle you put in this German driver, he will perform, he will succeed, and I'm pretty sure he will be the driver who, well, he should take that first place prize and take it with him to the real Nordschleife circuit to just prove how fast he can be on the real thing, and I'm pretty sure he will be really fast. Matas Mendel is really interested in that P3 that currently belongs to Thomas Halonen. Matas Mendel is running right on the tail. He's putting some nice pressure on the drivers from Finland, and that's the best a driver can do in this situation on this part of the racetrack. It's not the easiest track to make those moves stick, so all you can try and do is try and put some pressure on drivers ahead. Of course, we are at the moment at the place of the track where overtaking can happen, and Matas Mendels is going for it, and he has to back off. What will Thomas Halonen do? That's a good opportunity for Povilas Klimanskas. Matas Mendels was forced to use the outside line around that corner, and he's going for a switcheroo, but the next one is a left-hander. Matas Mendels is lining behind Thomas Halonen, and all these fights, all these battles between these two drivers are allowing Povilas Klimanskas to gain on drivers ahead. It looks like Povilas Klimanskas maybe made a couple of mistakes, or he just doesn't have the needed pace, but he was falling behind. Now he's gaining, and look how much faster he can go around these corners without having to battle no one. I think Thomas Travinskas and Lee O'Brien have ran a little bit too wide, but as mentioned before, these cars of the curbings, you can be a little bit more aggressive running wider on the exits and maybe cutting the corners. You can see O'Brien hitting the curb, and it's just doing nothing for that BMW. Just jumps up in the air, but lands safely. Thomas Travinskas running a little bit wide, hitting the barrier. Good thing there is no one behind him, closely behind him. And Nimz is still running P9 behind Gavroil, which is not what we are used to seeing, but Nimz has to take some action right now. Of course, he can be calm. He's quite far ahead in the championship. 29 points ahead of Eliseo Bender. Bender is currently in second. Mangano is third in standings and first in the list at this moment. So, well, if I would be Nimz, I wouldn't risk it. I just would try and take it safely. Of course, if you wait too long, you risk to lose the position to Tomaszewicz. So Tomaszewicz is running wide, kissing that curve, running on the grass, and still keeping that momentum. So that's how these BMWs are driven. So that's what I was talking about while I was mentioning Nimz. He's trying to be careful, but maybe it's not the time to be too much careful, because Well, it looks like he has a couple of occasions to try and make those moves. We have another hotspots on the racetrack. That's Thomas Holland and Matas Mendelis and Thomas Klimanskas running side by side. Matas Mendelis and Thomas almost banging the sides with those vehicles, and that allows Povilas Klimanskas to mix in this fight for P3 at this moment, and Povilas Klimanskas waits for nothing. Jan Nimz finally up to P8. He lost quite a lot of time. Still has to battle. Oh, and Jan Nimz is off the track. Jan Nimz didn't wait enough, and I think this is over in race 1 and maybe race 2 for the driver from Germany. I'm not sure if he has some races to forget. Maybe this one will be the race for the German driver to forget, because only 5 best race results count towards the overall standings. But this one is a nightmare again. Nimz was looking good. I was talking about Jan's performance, and I was just suggesting him to wait a little bit, but we've seen that waiting too much might have cost Jan Nimz the position. For the drivers that we're running behind, and well, looks like it didn't work as planned. The drivers were much slower than Jan Nimz. Maybe this is the strategy. Maybe Jan Nimz will have to not finish this race to not make his car heavier for the next round. I mean, maybe he should try and finish this race no matter what position, but mainly not in the top 3 positions to not gain another additional weight, and have a good go in the final round. Let his main rivals gather a little bit more weight for their vehicles to have it a little bit more equal for the final running of the championship. Matas Mendelis is still behind Thomas Halonen, and it looks like he's unable to do anything in this. At this moment, Povilas Klimanskas was kind of riding the tail of Matas Mendelis, and at one moment it looked like that he was ready to go for a move. It didn't happen. Now the gaps extended a little bit between these drivers. I'm pretty sure it will go down once again, but this time they can relax a little bit and not think about the rivals for at least a couple of corners. On board with our current race leader, Mangano is running first, and he is looking for a win. I'm not sure if Mangano has a win in this championship, though he's currently second in the standings program, so he doesn't have a win in this championship, or at least not an overall win. So this is your chance, and that's what he's aiming for. 1.4 seconds, Mangano and Mender, so no risk for Mangano at this particular occasion. He has to be really, really concentrated about the final lap that awaits in this first race. On board with Povilas Klimanskas, 5/10 behind Matas Mendelis. Matas is nowhere near Thomas Halonen to try and use that slipstream, so they will not swap places, and they should finish the way they are running by the end of this lap. That will not help Goroil and Romanian. I think that's Romanian and Garul, who were having bad moments, and I'm not sure if these are the drivers. We're spinning around, and they are spinning around once again. I think that's Tomasz Savic's who just simply hit the rule. Look what that created. Oh, what about Justinas Soldukas? Justinas Soldukas dropped down to P18. I think he had some connection issues, and I think he didn't start the race. He wins P21, and he will stay on the racetrack, try to run, and he will try to what the outcome of this one is going to be. No pace on the vehicle, and it's hardly drivable, but he will try and stay on the track. Justinas Soldukas P18 battling with Boss Hammer, having a little bit of a nudge, while still staying on the Grand Prix circuit, and we have this hotspot on the race racetrack. Felipe is currently 10th, and this is the battle for pole position for the second round. So this is a important battle at this moment, and the drivers, well, they are eager to finish in that top, in the 10th spot, because this is a good chance for anyone finishing top 10th to win the second race. Why not try? Why not go for that? And well, while running so close to each other, they have a good time. The battle of Romanian was running a little bit further up the grid at one moment, but a lot of mistakes. And well, I think his car is slightly damaged, and it's not sticking on the tarmac the way that Romanian would like. You can see him working with that wheel and sometimes having to make corrections to not send the car into the barriers. Tomaszewicz and Poshiba battling for position. I say that Tomaszewicz was not that careful. Oh, Felipe is making a mistake and sliding around, and there's another nudge by Tomaszewicz. Not sure if he had room to give more place to go, but there's another driver pushed by Tomaszewicz, and sent off the racetrack. Felipe, of course, started all of this on his own. I think he was concentrating a little bit too much on his rear view mirrors, and he missed the braking point into that slow chicane. Went through it and then was greeted by the BMW of Tomaszewicz. Hoven suddenly joined the battle. Joined the party for the battle in the battle for P10. Well, we should call it a battle for pole position for race 2, or maybe the chance to win the second race this evening. This is the 5th round of the RingFreaks Championship. The drivers are fighting for vouchers to spend on the real track, of course, in the cars presented by the RingFreaks guys. This is second championship that is being organized with the World's in Series platform. I'm pretty sure this is a really successful project, enjoying not only to see, but I'm pretty sure the drivers are enjoying the participation in this event. Hoven and Tomaszewicz is battling for P12, and it looks like that Hoven is going for a P3 finish in the first race, and that should be, if my memory not lies, the best result for the driver from Finland in this championship. It's a good performance, and I'm loving seeing some drivers improving throughout the races and becoming faster with every round, and that's what the virtual racing is for, especially for real track drivers. Mangano is preparing for his championship, for his real race battles, and I'm pretty sure the improvements will transfer to the real vehicle. And I think we've enjoyed the sounds of the BMWs around the Nordschleife circuit, turbocharged engines, so the drivers have to be cautious how they are operating the gears. You cannot over rev these engines, because then you lose power, so you have to be really wise which gear you are using for corners, and of course when you're upshifting. Sounds strange, but you cannot over rev these turbocharged engines, because you risk to lose speed and momentum. Poshiba settling behind Romanian. What about Nimz? He's currently P20th and battling with Garuil. And these are the drivers who are not maybe slow, but they have damaged vehicles, and they have been in bad situation. There you go, Bosshammer. We missed when this driver made a crash and damaged his vehicle. Nimz battling Garuil. Soldukas up to P15 and still enjoying some battles. He might be the driver thinking about P10, but maybe it's a little bit too late already. He's right on the tail of Einingis and Tomaszewicz. and of course Hoven, but this is P12 maximum at this moment. Boshibal and Rahmanian are battling for that 10th spot at this moment, for that pole position and the possibility to win the second race. Matas Mendelis around the carousel, still running behind Thomas Halonen, doing good performance. Matas Mendelis trying to avoid any mistakes. And, well, I think Matas Mendelis is back again. We've seen bad races and good races by this driver. I think the opening round was one of the better ones for Matas Mendelis, and he kind of disappeared. And now, since the previous round, I think with those GT3s, he's back again. Last time he made quite big mistakes. Hopefully this time he'll be able to hold this car on the track without making any sort worse or bad moves. Final lap, so the time ran out. Mangano enjoying 3 seconds lead against Eliseo Bender. Thomas Halonen enjoying only 6 tenths lead against Matas Mendelis. So Thomas Halonen is definitely thinking about a strategy how to perform the best on the remainder of the racetrack. Leo Bryan showing his drift skills, taking all those runnings over the curbs. And he lost a little bit of time to Stravinskas. What about Rahmanian? He's still 1.2 seconds ahead of Poshibal. So Lucas already up to P14. So he was running 15. Now he's up to P14. Still 4 places short for that pole position. And the track is running out. And Hoven is still running really slow. You can see Justensa Lucas not wishing to wait any longer. He was pretty fast in the qualifying session. I think he suffered from some connection issues or something similar, because he disconnected just before the start of this race. He managed to maybe start from pit. I might be mistaken. I'm just trying to figure out why Justensa Lucas is running that low, but he is having a really good time in the battle for P13. Which should be still better for race 2. It's not P10 and not pole position, but still not the final place at the start, and actually not the possibility to start from the pit lane. Where's Thomas Halonen? Oh, there he is. So right in front of Matas Mendelis. The camera was at a strange angle. Mangano should win easily. Bender should finish second. But what about Thomas Halonen and Matas Mendelis? I think it's a little bit too big of a gap. Half a second is not enough for these slightly slower vehicles. I think it's not going to work out for Matas Mendelis, so Thomas Halonen should enjoy with a phenomenal job that he was able to do in this first race. Paulius Klimanskas running 5th. So I think that our top 10 places are pretty safe and stable. We'll have to wait and see how Rahmanian will complete those remaining laps. But Mangano crossing the line and taking the checker flag. Congratulations to the driver from Italy. Bender finishing second, Halonen third, Matas Mendelis and Thomas Halonen. What a nice battle. Oh, and Matas Mendelis actually took the checker flag. No, he didn't. Okay, so who's the driver who finished in front? That's actually Thomas Halonen, but that's a close finish. 5 tenths separating Mendelis and Mangano. Klimanskas 5th, Stravinskas 6th, O'Brien 7th, Espin 8th, Amark 9th, and Rahmanian is being chased down by Poshibal, but that's not enough, so Rahmanian will be the driver who will start the second race from pole position. Poshibal finishing 11th. Hoven and Saldukas battling it out. Yet another drag race to the finish line. Oh, Justina Saldukas having a go, and I think this one will work this time. Will it? Oh, that's close. I mean, it's hard to tell, but I think Hoven was still the driver who took the checkered flag. First, yes indeed, but the gap this time was pretty much smaller and pretty much non-existent. I think it was 800ths of a second. Whew, what a race it was, and that's already ended. Not for all of the drivers, of course. Boss Hammer is running down the main straight. Jan Nimz, by the way, finished 18th, so still not the worst result that one could have expected from the driver without completing a lap in the qualifying session. He was running 9th at one moment in the first race, but didn't avoid a big accident. And he's, well, Jan Nimz can be fast, but of course he knows how to crash a car, and we've seen a couple of crashes from him already. And and well, he showed it one more time. So it's going to be an interesting second race with a couple of fast drivers starting from outside top 10. And let's take a quick look at the results of the first race. So Mangano, Bender, Halonen, Mendelis, Klimanskas, Stravinskas, O'Brien, Espin, Varg, and Poshival is the driver who will start first. Oh no, I think that's Rahmanian who finished 10th, and because, well, he is qualified as 16th in the standings, but the Assetto Corsa platform, of course, doesn't read that. And Poshival will start the race first. Let's take a quick break, and we'll be back hopefully with my colleague Gustas Grimbergas for the amazing second race. So we are back, and I'm already joined by my colleague Gustas Grimbergas. Hi Gustas, how are you?
Hi Lorinas, welcome. Nice of you to let me join this late, but it looks like a very, very exciting second race coming up.
Yep, we had really nice battles on the racetrack in the first race. We had a couple of accidents, and our favorite of this race will start the race from outside the top 10. And I'm talking about Justinas Saldukas and Jan Nimz. Jan Nimz had problems during the qualifying session, and he was unable to put in a fast lap time, so he started somewhere in the mid-pack, was up into P9, then crashed and finished 18th or maybe even 19th. So did have some problems. Justinas Saldukas, I think he disconnected before the start, so he will start the second race from P13. Our pole position winner in the first race is Rahmanian. He finished 10th. He will start the race from P1. But I think we should have a better look at Matas Mendelis and Pavlas Klimanskas. Well, our bet with Gustas Grimbergas was one of these two drivers, so let's wait and see.
Yeah, let's see what they can do. Starting from P5, it's still possible to get up the field from P5, but I'll be keeping my eye out on Jan Nimz, starting all the way down to 19th, and away they go. It looks like a pretty clean start so far for everyone, slotting in one behind another. Looks like these cars are very much liking the draft down the straight, and Rahmanian still takes the lead down into turn 1. He's going to have a clean run there, but it is 3 wide right behind him, 4 wide at some point there as well. Matas Mendelis down in 8th position, trying to recover a few places. Klimanskas in P6, so Alessio Bender has gotten in front of Klimanskas, but I think that was Klimanskas almost running off the road there, right in front, but still on track, and now side by side together with Alessio Bender, the Door Esports driver, and to the inside into the next turn. He might just have the advantage here, but these cars are obviously not as quick as the as the BMW GT3s that we had last time. Free wide into the hairpin they come. It's Klimanskas, Mendelis and Bender. Let's see who'll come out on top. Mendelis got that inside line, but I think that was Bender being pushed a little bit wide, and now it's Klimanskas and Mendelis side by side as they come up to the Schumacher S. Klimanskas finally takes that position back, so back to P6 right from where he started from. 1 second now behind Stravinskas. Espin actually got up into the front of the field because they're side by side with Rachmanian, and I think yes, they still are, but no, Rachmanian dropped right behind. No, doesn't make the move back, so I think Espin is just gonna keep that lead for the moment. But let's see what Klimanskas, Mendelis and Bender can do. Mangano and Halonen staying, well, actually Halonen lost the position. That was Bender jumping up from P2 into, well, from, I'm sorry, from P9. P9, right, from P9 into P7, so 2 places gained for him. It was a place lost for Halonen and was a place lost for Mendelis. Now Alessio Bender all the way up to P6, so they're just still going side by side. It's still Klimanskas trying to take the inside, and they touch again. Wow, I think they're going to destroy their cars. They won't even get to half the lap of the Nordschleife. Still side by side. They go for the right-hander. Now Klimanskas has to yield, and now this is Bender's chance. He's really aggressive in this opening part of the race. That was Halonen just showing his nose. Doesn't happen, and, well, stays behind for the time being. So we've got Espin, Rachmanian, Varg, Leo Bryan, Stravinskas, Bender, Klimanskas, Mendelis, Halonen, and Mangano. Your top 10. Not that many movers, but let's see what they can do.
Yeah, but and our biggest losers are our biggest favorites. That's Jan Nimz and Justinas Saldukas, both of them dropping down to the very last spots. Of course, they started to regain those positions lost again already, but Jan Nimz and Justinas Saldukas are currently P19 and P20th. So Jan Nimz was up to P12 at one point. I think I was just having an eye on the results, but now, well, it's all over for those drivers, and we have a battle. We have a car going sideways, and we have Matas Mendelis and Povilas Klimanskas battling it out for P7. Povilas Klimanskas did have a better line into that left-hander, but Matas Mendelis should have a better line into that next corner. But look who's around the outside on Matas Mendelis. Thomas Halonen was really having a really good first race and was able to defend that third place for Matas Mendelis, and now he's up to P8.
And Rachmanian back up into the lead, so it looks like the slipstream is working wonders for these drivers. I was expecting Espin to kind of, you know, bolt away a little bit, still side by side right behind them. I think that was for P4, I believe. Stravinskas gets up into P4 for the time being, but let's see what happens down the straight. It's a massive train of cars, and now since the field has been switched, kind of the slower drivers at the front, and they're kind of holding up the pack because, well, down the straights you're going to be as fast as everyone else. Actually, Jan Nimz retires from the race. Oh, and a touch! Halonen and Klimanskas.
No, it's Matas Mendelis. Matas Mendelis overtook Halonen, and Halonen is having a go. When they touch again, and Thomas Halonen running sideways, and that's it for the driver from Finland. This one is a heavy crash, and the car is undrivable from this moment. So no good result in the hopes of the second race for Thomas Halonen. He should try and roll around the racetrack for the remaining corners. Matas Mendelis, what do you think about this situation? Of course, it's a shame we can't have a replay, so it's really hard to decide what happened here, but I think both of the drivers became a little bit too hot in that situation, and I'm not sure if it's Matas Mendelis to blame, because both of the drivers were already starting to not avoid contacts, and that's what it ended.
Yeah, when you're side by side for 5, 6, 7 turns, something is bound to happen. That looked like Mendelis maybe went a little bit wide and they touched, but I don't want to put the blame on anyone. To the inside comes Bender on Stravinskas. Bender making moves and making moves quick. Up into P4 now. He's going to try and have a run on Varg here down the long straight. Mangano side by side with Poshaba. Into the wall a little bit there, but Mangano only a place up, so into P9.
And he has a damaged vehicle. Look at the front end of this car. So this is a good chance for Bender to take that overall win of this round. He finished second in the first race. He's currently fourth, and his main rival Mangano is currently ninth with huge problems to his BMW. I'm not sure if he'll...
And they're up into P3 now as well.
Oh,
so
look what's happening ahead. So Matas Mendelis with that slightly damaged vehicle can get in the mix, or can he? And actually he can, and he's overtaking O'Brien on the grass, taking that curb a little bit aggressive. And well, these two drivers enjoy each other's company for this race being. They finished one behind each other, and now they are still enjoying the side of each other. Of course, we've lost Thomas Hallonen from this battle, but well, still happening between Matas Mendelis and Klimanskas. Bender up to P3, so I'm pretty sure Bender will enjoy the lead of this race shortly. He was one of the faster drivers in the first race. Well, he wasn't the fastest driver, but the fastest driver from first race. Mangano is ninth with a damaged vehicle. Klimanskas struggling a little bit for grips by the looks of it. Does he have a damaged vehicle? Doesn't look so.
I think it's just difficult sometimes to get into the groove. These cars are obviously very close to a road car. It's just pretty much got a roll bar and some slick tires and off you go. So it is not maybe the grip that these guys were used to when they ran the GT3s. Very different type of beast to tame. And definitely Klimanskas is quicker than the guys ahead, but I think just that struggle in the first few turns with Bender, who's now actually managed to get right up to the back of Espin, and he's going to try and make a move to the outside. I think that's going to be difficult to make around the outside. No, not going to happen. He's going to have to wait just a little bit more, even though Espin goes very, very sideways. You can't make the move here yet, but Bender is he's on course for a race win here this evening. Even though Rachmanian has made a 2-second gap. Oh, very, very sideways from Varg, and to the inside. Stravinskas in the touch, but they just about keep it alive. That's Klimanskas to the outside, to the inside. That becomes the outside into here, but he's just about made the move on Stravinskas. Now he's going to try and get as close as possible to Varg. You know what? This isn't done yet, because Bender is still stuck behind Espin up ahead, but to the inside, Stravinskas, and into the wall. That's, well, almost race over, I would say.
Thankfully, he had managed to avoid further contacts. This is the main thing in situations like these. It was really hot, and a lot of vehicles were running side by side. Look at Mangano up to P6, overtaking Matas Mendelis. So what's up with Matas Mendelis? He's losing places, and I think he didn't have a good line. So he lost the momentum. So down to P8 right in front of Poshibal. So it's not working out for Matas Mendelis yet again. This is not the first race where Matas Mendelis is looking good, but is kind of not performing to the maximum. And in the meantime, Eliseo Bender is up to P2. As to go defensive, these cars are not that slipstream tasty, if you can call that so. Well, 5/10 of advantage down the main straight is enough of time to avoid that slipstream overtaking by the end of the line. Varg on Klimanskas. We should have a side-by-side situation in the back. What's happening with Matas Mendelis? He lost such an amount of time, and he has to defend from Poshibal at this moment. And
so
it didn't work out.
Gets the move done. Now he's got Espin up ahead of him. If he can catch up to him while they're on the GP course still, something might be possible here. And that something might be P2, P1?
P1? I think these drivers are fighting for P1, but there comes Varg. He is not done yet. Oh, and he's too hot on the brakes. Lost out, and that's a big thank you from Porlas Klimanskas. He's released to try and catch
that
Espin.
much. He's only lost 2/10. He's still on the back of Klimanskas.
Oh yeah, he is. So
it looked like he spun way off track, but I guess that was just the camera angle.
Maybe it was.
I think Mangano is enjoying this quite a lot. He's picked up a lot of places by not doing a lot of work, while at the same time you've got Jan Nimz not participating anymore, retired from this race. So this is a big points haul that he's going to be able to take. And well, that kind of doesn't make it a championship so sure for our man in P1.
Well, there is a chance to drop one round. So this is definitely the round that Jan Nimz will have to drop, even though he had bad rounds at the beginning. I think the second round was not that good for Jan Nimz. But this one is the worst. He didn't finish the second race. He finished way down the order the first one. So this is definitely will be the round to drop. But it's still not over for Jan Nimz, and he'll have his chance 2 weeks. In 2 weeks' time, there comes Paulius Klimanskas on S-Pin into the chicane, and he has to back out of it because it's not the place to take that move. Oh, and S-Pin is just willing to give that position back while he's doing everything he can to not run on the racetrack. But Paulius Klimanskas still not finding that gap for that overtake. You can see how slightly damaged the vehicle by Paulius Klimanskas is.
I think he's been battling almost every single car on track. That's why his car is damaged. Alessio Bender is catching up to Rachmaninian. Maybe not as much as we expected, but he's doing a good job, down to 0.8 of a second. That's going to be a move that, let's see how difficult Rachmaninian makes it. If he doesn't try and defend it too much, it's going to be pretty easy. This is Mangano on Varg. I think Mangano might just be able to get a podium here.
Well, look at that vehicle. Look at the front of Mangano's BMW. It's definitely seen some bad contacts. It's bent. Yeah, the hood is deformed, and well, that is not a help. Maybe it's not that much in a Corsa platform. It will polish out. Yeah, but I'm wondering how much of disadvantage is Mangano receiving from that kind of damage, or does he have any disadvantage at all?
It does look like he's struggling a little bit down the straights. Interesting how much of that damage is psychological damage, where you can see that the car is a little bit bent, and you're obviously dropping the pace then. It could sometimes be that, but I think that bent hood definitely makes an impact on his straight line speed, because he's struggling a little bit to catch up to Varg, while others you've seen them make moves in the slipstream very, very easily. I think that's something that Klimanskas is struggling with as well. With his damaged car, he's kind of stuck behind S-Pin, because S-Pin is one of the only cars he's caught up to this whole race that doesn't have any damage. But let's see what he can try and do here into the left-hander, actually, right on your screen. But
and he's going for it.
Track.
And he's going for it, and I think it was really close.
Oh, they somehow keep it on track. No idea how, but still.
Skills. They don't have skill issues. Yeah, that's what it's about. In the meantime, Bender is right on the tail of Rachmaninian, only 2 tenths separating those two cars ahead.
Yeah, that's going to be a move.
Oh, S-Pin is dropping it. I think he lost it, and now it's the most important part, not to get back on the racetrack. Where other cars are driving and someone's in the wall, that's S-Pin. And he had a contact with another vehicle. I think Matas Mindelis and Poshibal did collide. Matas Mindelis, I think I saw Matas Mindelis running into the back end of Poshibal. Both of the drivers are continuing their racing. Saldukas joined the battle, and Rachmaninian is being aggressively pushed by a Bender. A lot of action happening in this second race, actually. Less than half of lap remaining. S-Pin out of the race already. He did have quite a nice racing up until this moment, but it was all on his own, actually.
There have been so many cars having incidents. I don't think I've seen maybe one move made by Mangano. And now actually, yeah, but he's in P5, so he's made up 5 positions by just not crashing into anyone.
And I think he's going into battling for P4, and he'll have maybe a chance to battle for P3, maybe not. But, well, P4 is a realistic result for Mangano in the second race. Still, if Bender manages to win, he will be the driver with most points collected during both races. So Bender is looking for not only the second race win, but an overall win in the 5th round of the RingFreaks Championship.
I think Bender can be quite relaxed here and can just wait for his opportunity to make that move. He doesn't need to rush anything here. He's got that very large gap of 6.5 seconds behind him. He tries to the outside of the carousel. That's that's not a move that you're going to make, but still staying behind, still doing a good job, not kind of pushing it, not making a mistake that some of these other drivers we've seen make. You're stuck behind. I want to make the move now, and then you make a mistake. Bender knows this is for big points. This is for the win in the race. He can wait. Oh, but I think he's trying. He's getting a little bit impatient because Rachmanian makes a mistake, and that is Alessio Bender up into the lead of the race from P9, I believe, on the grid. P9 on the grid into P1. Incredible job by him so far.
He has to keep it together. Well, this is the moment where he can make a mistake, and we've seen people make mistakes when they gain the position actually in the past, in the previous races. I think one of the most memorable ones is by Justinas Soldukas. He gained a position, or maybe Matas Mendelis in the last race when he battled for position, gained it, and then lost it on the final corner. Well, not the final corner, but while going on to the Döttinger Höhe. So it's still not over. Mangano actually up to P4 because Varg is standing on the sideways. And he's down to P10.
That's a place that people crash on often. It's called YouTube Corner for a reason. So Leo Bryan on the back of Mangano, I don't think he's going to have the pace to keep up and make a move down to Döttinger, but stranger things have happened at the Nürburgring. A little bit wide by Mangano, a little bit cutting the track by Leo Bryan. So two extremes. I don't know if the stewards are going to look at that. I don't think so, but that is Klimanskas ahead, who's not going to catch Rachmanian, whatever he does. It is a 5-second gap. It's going to be difficult to make that up. Soldukas in P7.
Yep, Soldukas up to P7. So that's how you do racing from the back of the pack. I think he was patient. Well, he had accidents at the beginning of the race, but there were many accidents during the race that led Justinas Soldukas to advance of the positions, and now he's only 0.6 of a second behind Matas Mendes. So still the race is not over for Justinas Soldukas, who had problems during the first race, and this is a race for Alessio Bender to take that checker flag and the win in the overall standings of this evening. Rachmanian should finish second, and this is a really nice result by the driver from Iran. Klimanskas looking for a P3 finish, and O'Brien still on the tail of Mangano, while Justinas Soldukas is right on the tail of Matas Mendelis, but there should be no changes in that order. Bender going for a win, Rachmanian finishing second, Klimanskas third. What about Mangano and Leo Bryan? There should be no change in this battle, so should not be in the battle for P6. Justinas Soldukas should finish right behind Matas Mendelis. Ivo finishing 8th with Poshibal running 9th, and Varg should finish 10th. So even though Varg had a really big accident, he still managed to round out that top 10 places. So it was really a hell of a race, if you can call that, on a green hell cooled circuit. Thomas Hallonen finishing only 12th. What a nice first race result for Thomas Hallonen. He was really battling it out in the second one. It didn't work out. By the way, these results are unofficial, and we've seen a lot of incidents, a lot of crashes, so there might be some sort of decisions. Look at the black car, which is almost white right now. Just showing
a lot of damage for Thomas Hallonen, but at least he did a good job to get that car to the end. A lot of guys, you know, they just quit. They decided, oh, it's not worth it. Okay, Hallonen is 12th, but that's still some points towards the championship. So good on those who actually got their cars to the end.
Yeah, and that's showing the fighting spirit of the drivers. Stravinska still running down the Döttinger Höhe straight. I think he's the last one on the grid to take that checkered flag. And with that being said, The fifth round has been completed. We are yet to see the final results. We can take a quick look at the results of the second race. But, well, the results might differ from what we see right now because some work by the stewards can be done. The penultimate round has been completed, and I think one of the most interesting rounds awaits us in 2 weeks' time, because I'm not sure how to take a look at that, but we have a E36 or E30 BMWs waiting for
the DTM car.
Yeah, the DTMs.
The old DTM, the classic DTM.
Yeah, I think this is going to be the race to wait for. There we go on your screens, all the cars used in this championship, and one race still remaining. A small mistake on that table. It's written round 4. It's actually going to be round 6. BMW E30 DTM. What do you think is waiting for us and the participants in 2 weeks' time?
I think it's going to be crazy.
I think it's going to be the real green hell with these yellow cars.
Let's see who survives.
Yeah.
Let's see who survives. That's going to be the point of the race. If you just have to survive.
Reminds me of the famous film Rocky. The famous soundtrack. So, well, with the note of that and the rhymes in my head, I want to say goodbye for you. Big thank you for Gustas Grimbergas for joining this broadcast, even though it was a little bit later than usual. Still had a lot of fun spectating this race together with you.
Thank you very much, and have a nice night, everyone.